Here are some of the pictures that we've already received across the country. Let's take this one, which Muiwa sent in from Kebbi State. The horizon in this image is covered in a sandstorm, and according to Muiwa, the sandstorm covered the entire region of Kebbi and Sokoto states on Friday, March the 20th, and it lasted for over 10 hours. To the southwest now, precisely Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where Sheyi reports that this accident occurred 3 kilometers from Shagamu. He blames the accident on police vehicles driving against traffic, facing other vehicles approaching Lagos from Shagamu. Channels Television has not been able to independently verify that claim. Still on the roads in Lagos, here's this picture of heavy traffic at the Apple Junction, that's in Festac Town in the Amuodofin area of Lagos. Eyewitness reporter who sent in this picture says the area was blocked for over 2 hours. And here's an interesting one, a handmade vehicle. Our eyewitness reporter who sent in the picture says this car, made by a 37-year-old Durojaye, can be driven on land and water. Those are some of your pictures. Glad to have your contributions. Do keep them coming to us. Now it's exactly 2 days to the presidential elections, and the federal government has ordered the closure of all borders from midnight today. The Ministry of Interior says the president has also directed the Nigeria Immigration Service to ensure that non-Nigerians do not participate in the electoral process. According to the ministry, the borders are being closed to allow for the peaceful conduct of the forthcoming general elections. The government therefore warns that it would not tolerate the flaunting of this directive. The borders will be reopened after the elections. Now, security personnel in Rivers State certainly have their work cut out for them, as violence seems to be the order of the day in the run-up to the elections. At least 2 people have been killed and property worth millions of naira destroyed after hoodlums unleashed mayhem on the Onelga community on Monday. Our correspondent Emmanuel Irei reports that the situation has led to residents fleeing the area, while the Rivers State Police Command has paraded 90 suspected cultists and 5 robbery suspects.
Scenes of grief and sorrow in Onelga community of Rivers State as residents mourn the death of one of their own who was shot by suspected hoodlums. Going by their account, the deadly incident stems from the crisis between rival political parties. They say the assailants stormed the community, shooting randomly at people's homes. At least one house was razed to the ground.
I have suffered great loss, and they have rendered me homeless. It took me time to put on that structure.
For the Rivers State government, the incident is pretty ominous, especially in the run-up to the elections.
The original intention of the PDP is realizing that they are not on ground and that they do not have the vote, is to scare our people away. That they cannot kill all of us, and that we will resist them, and that we will vote our choice and will throw out the bad government that is plaguing our country.
The People's Democratic Party, on the other hand, points accusing fingers at the ruling All Progressives Congress.
It is a party that relies on violence. It is a party that sponsors violence. Is Boko Haram the militant arm of APC? What is the origin and background of Boko Haram? We don't have such things here. They are being imported from the north and southwest through the APC.
The violence has kept law enforcement officers busy. According to the PPRO, the crisis in the state is encouraging criminal activity.
Already, we have 92 suspects in our custody from various court groups in the state, where we recovered assorted firearms, cutlasses, ammunition, and other lethal weapons.
With the elections coming up on Saturday, the persistent violence continues to heighten fears of a looming breakdown of law and order during the polls.
The People's Democratic Party says it's set for Saturday's general elections. At a media briefing in Abuja, the party's leadership said it has high chances of victory at the polls.
Please, for the avoidance of doubt, let me...
In what appears to be renewed optimism ahead of the Saturday polls, the National Publicity Secretary of the ruling People's Democratic Party, Mr. Olisa Metu, told journalists that his party will emerge winners. Mr. Metu based his conviction on the support and feedback he says the party has received from supporters during their campaigns.
Gentlemen of the press, I can therefore most confidently assure you that with the support of Nigerians, we are headed for an overwhelming victory at the presidential and National Assembly elections come Saturday, the 28th day of March, 2015.
While responding to questions from journalists on the party's position on whether voters should wait to defend their votes after voting, Metu says supporters of the party should abide by electoral provisions.
When you vote, the laws permit you, as long as you are beyond, I think it's 30 meters or 300 yards or so 300 meters, as long as you're to stay there. And that's what the law states, and that's what INEC, the governing body, has stated. And we believe our members and our party people should respect that.
The optimism for victory is echoed by the party's presidential campaign organization. Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode is confident that the president will be re-elected. Mr. Fani-Kayode, however, raised some concerns over an alleged compromise in the card readers, which he says, if not addressed, could affect the elections.
It is clear that certain aspects of and electronic components within the card reader system, which will be used in Saturday's election, have not only been compromised, but that the encryption codes and so-called master key may have been made available to the opposition or their friends and agents. Our concerns stem from the fact that the moving spirit and a major shareholder and board member of the company that supplied the card reader system and machines to INEC is not only a friend of, but also an ardent and keen supporter of General Muhammadu Buhari and the APC.
28 political parties are expected to participate in the general elections that will commence on Saturday with the Presidential, House of Representatives and the Senate.
The controversy over whether or not voters should go home after accreditation of voting has not been laid to rest. The National Publicity Secretary of the main opposition party, that's the All Progressive Congress, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, today at a press conference says the party does not agree with the position of the Inspector General of Police on the order asking voters to go home after casting their votes. The APC spokesperson, however, asked its supporters to stay back to defend their votes.
Now, as Nigerians go to the polls on Saturday, we urge them to do so peacefully but resolutely. Irrespective of the conflicting signals from the police, they should not just vote, but stay behind to defend their votes. Recall that the police first said Nigerians should vote and go home, and later reversed itself and said voters may stay back after casting their votes. This confusion is aimed at confusing the voters. As we said earlier, voters should ignore the unlawful order from the IGP, ordering them to go home after casting their ballots. Voters should rather listen to the INEC chairman, Professor Ataru Jega, who said the electoral law does not state anywhere that voters cannot or should not wait to watch and ensure that their votes are counted. We are therefore urging the electorate to make sure they stay behind to protect their votes after casting their ballots, as was the case in 2011.
National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. In the meantime, the Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria, TAN, today held a mega rally at the National Stadium here in Lagos to drum up support for the re-election of President Goodluck Jonathan. The convener of the group, Mr. Pt.2, alongside the governorship candidate of the PDP for Lagos State, Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, led their supporters in a walk from the National Stadium in Surulere to Maryland. Mr. Obah said the size of the crowd is a clear indication of the president's towering profile.
They came from all walks of life. The venue is the National Stadium. Their mission is to stand in solidarity for President Jonathan and Jimmy Agbaje. It's all about the coming elections. These are the transformation ambassadors of Nigeria and various support groups from the markets, artisans, and more. Campaign materials of various forms, adorning shades of green, enveloped virtually every space. Soon after the program got off to the formal start, activities kicked off with music and comments. Just when the curtains were drawn, another round of campaign opened, this time on the streets of Lagos, bringing virtually to a halt vehicular movement.
A journey of million miles starts with a good step. That's what you are seeing today. Wait and see after Saturday, you will see 5 times of what you are seeing today. We are doing Operation Shutdown Lagos. So we are here to stay.
This rally is basically a rallying call for supporters for Jonathan's election. And you can see that the people are out there for good luck Jonathan. And so you can see that Lagos, from this crowd, is going to vote Jonathan. By the time Jonathan wins on March 28th, Jimmy Agbaje's elections will just be the icing on the top of the cake.
It will be interesting to see how this human turnout will be instrumental to victory for their choice candidate. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
The Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria holding their rally yesterday. Do excuse me. Now, when the news at 10 returns, the federal government promises to close tax gaps for better tax administration in the country. That's on Business News. Do join us again.